be seated, please.
Your Excellency, Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, dear friends. It gives me a great pleasure to be here in Ottawa today to present the Nansen Medal to the people of Canada and to thank you, Madam, for having graciously agreed to accept it on their behalf. It is 35 years since UNHCR was founded. The nature of the High Commissioner's responsibilities have changed remarkably in the 3.5 decades since the office came into existence. In a number of refugees, in their origin, in the geography and character of the refugee problems itself. When UNHCR was established, refugees were largely a European concern, a legacy of World War II and of the political transformation that followed it on the continent. Today, refugees are a major global phenomenon of our times, often inseparable from the range of problems affecting the political, social, cultural, economic development of the Third World. These problems have all too frequently erupted into violence and contributed to a number of mass migrations within and between developing states, and from these states to the industrialized world. Out of a total of 12 million refugees in the world, as at the end of 1985, 9.5 million, or over 80% of the global figures, an overwhelming majority of refugees have found asylum in developing countries. Their problems are added to those already existing in these countries. Yet they receive an exemplary welcome from some of the world's least prosperous states, which sometimes extend hospitality from an empty table. It would appear that they are willing to share their poverty, while others appear more concerned about preserving their prosperity. Assisting these refugees to achieve a modest degree of self-reliance is an economic, infrastructural, and human challenge for the international community as a whole, and calls for the appropriate participation of each member of that community. At the same time, the movement of asylum seekers from developing nations to the industrialized world, the jet people of the 80s who have succeeded the boat people of the 70s, have jolted existing refugee law and practice and created a situation in which governments who traditionally have upheld refugee rights are now reacting with policy largely defensive in nature and determined by the imperative of deterrence. It is no longer sufficient for states to consider that they have fulfilled their obligation by contributing generously to UNHCR programs. UNHCR needs more than just your humanitarian support. I must turn to the parliamentarians and government officials among us today and say very frankly that we need your collective political will to explore solutions to refugee problems. Madam, I believe there can be no more fitting tribute to the outstanding services that Canadians everywhere, at home and abroad, have rendered to refugees than to make this award for the first time to an entire generous and hospitable people. It is equally appropriate that the award bears the name of the great Arctic explorer, scholar, diplomat, and humanitarian Fridtjof Nansen, who was the first High Commissioner for Refugees in the days of the League of Nations. The Nansen Medal Award Committee, instituted by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, recognizing the major and sustained contribution made by the people of Canada to the cause of refugees, wishing to pay tribute to Canada for providing a new homeland and citizenship to hundreds of thousands of refugees fleeing persecution, aware of the remarkable achievement of individuals, family, voluntary agencies, community and religious organizations, as well as federal, provincial and municipal authorities in helping refugees to integrate successfully into Canadian society and regain human dignity, considering the invaluable assistance through financial and material contribution and services provided by Canada and its people to the refugee in all continents, hereby awards the Nansen Medal for 1986 to the people of Canada. Le comité d'attribution de la médaille Nansen, institué par le Haut-Commissaire des Nations Unies pour les réfugiés, reconnaissant la contribution importante et constante du peuple canadien à la cause des réfugiés, désireux de rendre hommage au Canada qui a donné une nouvelle patrie, ainsi que la citoyenneté à des centaines de milliers de réfugiés fuyant la persécution, conscient de l'œuvre remarquable accomplie par les particuliers, les familles, les agences bénévoles et les organisations communautaires et religieuses, ainsi que par les autorités fédérales, provinciales et municipales pour aider les réfugiés à s'intégrer avec succès dans la société canadienne et recouvrer leur dignité humaine, considérant l'assistance inappréciable sous forme de services et de contributions financières et matérielles offertes par le Canada et son peuple aux réfugiés de tous les continents, décerne par la présente la médaille Nansen de 1986 au peuple du Canada.
I would like to thank those who made the decision to honor an entire nation for its openness, tolerance, and generosity. It would be inappropriate for me to dwell on the humanitarian attitude that has opened Canada's doors to hundreds of thousands of people from around the world and allowed them at long last to find peace and stability. However, without wishing to sound too proud, I must praise the governments, charitable organizations, groups, and individuals who have demonstrated the value of sharing and international solidarity. We are all delighted to be receiving the Nansen Medal, since each and every one of us can take some of the credit for the honor that is being bestowed on Canada. However, the celebration cannot allow us to forget the harsh reality of millions of displaced people and their tragic journey through solitude and abandonment. On behalf of all the people of Canada, whom I am honored to represent, I would again like to thank His Excellency, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and the representatives of the Nansen Medal Committee, and to express our very deep gratitude. They may be assured that this honor is not for us an end in itself. Rather, it is an incentive for us to develop our sense of sharing so that the homeless and oppressed will see that we strive to live by the word of He who said, "I was a stranger, and you have received me in your homes."